I think a lot of people spend time with that like sort of good fit, and they just kind of think that's what business is. It's hard. You have to go out and scratch and claw and dig things up, and they're trying lots of things, but nothing's really sticking, right?
Yeah.
And so I just don't want people to live in that territory for a long time. Welcome to Breaking Down Your Business, episode 356. You can find the show notes of this episode at breakingdownyourbusiness.com/356.
There it is. Nobody's going to know what they're listening to if you don't do that.
I'm Brad from Anchor Advisors.
I'm Jill from the Founding Moms.
Are you?
I really am.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this month we're talking about generating leads.
Yes, I love
And
that.
today we have a bonus episode because there's 5 Tuesdays in March.
What?
Yeah.
No.
On lead generation. And I brought a juicy piece of business jargon for us to discuss.
We
You ready?
hate business jargon.
I know, right?
Oh, no. Well, lead gen already to me is
I
like
know you freaked
bad,
out on that
bad
last.
term. I don't like it.
Well,
What's this
how
one?
about product market fit?
Ugh.
Why do you do that?
Product market fit. Because any business jargon that makes anyone go, okay, what do you mean? What is that? Is not English. We need English. Proper English.
So I'm going to define product market fit for you, but first let's hear from
I know
Comply
it.
Right.
All right.
So Jill, how much do you know about employment law?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You went to law school, you know nothing about employment
I
law.
know nothing about employment law.
How are small business owners supposed to figure out employment law if they didn't even go to law school?
Thankfully, we have an incredible sponsor called Comply Right.
Comply Right.
That's offering a 6-course freebie to educate you on employment stuff regarding
Wow.
your business. I know. So if you're a business owner, chances are you're juggling many HR tasks and you're trying to keep up with the ever-changing employment laws. They're changing all the time.
Yep.
HR 101 from Comply Right is a free online training program that'll give you a solid understanding of employment law so you can handle typical workplace issues like a pro.
This is completely free?
Yeah, I'm just going to list to you some of the courses that they offer. General legal obligation for employers, recruiting and hiring,
Hard.
classifying workers correctly,
Complicated.
managing your employees, preventing
Tricky.
workplace harassment,
Yikes.
and discipline and termination. So I'm going to send you to complyright.com/courses. It's totally free. Go there right now. Do the thing.
Wow.
I mean, I know what it means.
What does it mean? What's product market fit?
Product market fit is where does your product fit in the market?
Oh, that's not what product market fit is.
It means that you're, what did you say, product market fit? It means that you're fit to be a product in the market.
No.
I'm just going to keep rearranging the words.
How about I explain it to you?
No, I don't think I'm
Okay, so
interested.
you've got a market that you've chosen. For you, mom entrepreneurs is
like
the
a
market.
grocery store? Oh, market.
A market.
Alrighty,
group
see,
of people.
that's
a
already
segment,
bad jargon.
An
Fine,
audience.
Fine, got it.
Okay? I'm trying to find words you like here.
I like that.
Okay, so you have an audience.
'Kay.
Right? And so that audience has a need or a set of needs or a group
course.
of needs, right? And it's not clear what the product is or the service, doesn't matter, that's going to meet their needs at a price that they're willing to pay and you're going to make money at.
Right.
Right? And a lot of times when you start your business, you get close. Like you find something that people kind of like and they kind of value.
You need to keep shifting.
Exactly. And so you keep
Shape-shifting.
trying things. You experiment until you find that thing. And then all of a sudden, selling it gets a lot easier. You get referrals.
Totally.
People are coming towards you.
So as I said, this is about your product fitting into the market.
oh, my gosh.
I think I nailed it first time and you just laughed at me.
So
Why are we talking about this?
we're talking about this
You just want to
because
make me crazy. Why?
because I think that a lot of businesses that are in the startup phase, and when I say startup phase, I don't mean like the first 6 months. You can mean the startup
6
phase
years.
for 10 years.
Yeah.
Because you're in the startup phase until you find that product market fit. That is
yes.
what defines exiting the startup phase and starting to go into the growth phase.
Dig it.
And so I think a lot of people spend time with that like sort of good fit, and they just kind of think that's what business is. It's hard. You have to go out and scratch and claw and dig things up, and they're trying lots of things, but nothing's really sticking,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so I just don't want people to live in that territory for a long time.
How can we get them out of it?
That's what I'm here to ask you about, Jill.
Well, I asked you first.
You're the idea person.
I
How
really
is it
am.
that we
I really
how
am.
is it that we help people find their product market fit?
I'm gonna go into something I wouldn't have said years ago when I was in the startup phase. Is first you have to take a look at how much you're resisting within the market that you're trying to serve. And what I mean by that is, what is your opinion of what you're selling? Because if you think, oh, my stuff is good enough, they're gonna love it, and you never ask them, or you never take a hard look, and go, you know what? They're not buying it in droves. Something must need to be tweaked. Mm-hmm. Then you're never going to get out of the startup
That's
phase.
right.
And so sometimes I think a lot of people hold themselves back because as founders or as business people, we know what's best. It's our product or your service.
Yes.
I know.
I also think
But you don't.
I also think the opposite can be true. I've seen people who experiment too much. Like that every time that they meet a client, they sell them
they
whatever
change
that
the game.
exactly,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
and so they
yeah.
never get enough data to tell them
That's an exceedingly insecure business person.
Okay.
Who has no solid core of around what their product or service is. So they think every single person who tells them something is influencing them, and they can't stick to it because they don't have confidence in their own product or service.
I think it can also happen when you're just desperate for money. And so you get someone
maybe that's
who's
what
willing
I'm
to buy
saying.
something, and so you sell it to them, and then you go back to the office and like, well, okay, we're going to deliver this. And then you go talk to someone else and you sell them what
I
they
think
need.
we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one thing that's really critical is getting some data about what's working. And like you said,
And you mean ask people
I do.
for feedback.
Yes.
Good. Okay, let's not
And then
call it data. Let's not
write
call it data.
down what they say
Yeah.
and measure it.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, Brad, I have come up with 75,000 ideas over the last decade where I have asked the crowd and thought, this is a winner.
For sure.
I even had an entire product called the Founding Kit. that
Yes.
We sold for 2 years.
Yep. Nothing. Goes.
Nothing.
Yep.
We didn't actually sell it for 2 years. We tried to sell it
Yes.
for 2 years. Nothing. And we did actually, even within that product, kept asking people, don't you think this is a great idea? Yeah, Jill, that's so awesome. I'd buy it. And we launched and
Nobody bought
crickets.
it. Yeah.
so it's very
So that's the market
interesting.
telling you something.
Yeah, and we listened and shut down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But you can try an awful lot, but you really have to pay attention to, am I offering something that is even coming close to what my market,
Right.
my product or service is?
Right.
And I forgot the second part of my.
Well, so I think the other thing that comes with that is that when we start our businesses, we generally are picking too big a market to serve,
Always.
right? And part of product market fit is noticing who are the people that actually want to buy this product.
Not only noticing it, but finally admitting, I don't want to try to collect every human being that I possibly can. I can't serve all of them, even though that sounds like a lot of money. Because it feels very counterintuitive to think the more niche I get, the more money I'll get. That doesn't make sense inside.
On the other hand, look in the grocery store where there's 27 kinds of shampoo,
Okay.
right? Each of those kinds of shampoo is about a specific problem that people have with their hair or issue that they have or
Right.
thing that they need. And by narrowing it down on those specific needs, that is what moves the product. The same thing is true with your service, is if you can narrow it down and be really specific, about what you do and who you do it for, then it moves the needle.
So hard.
It is super hard. But paying
No, I
attention.
meant it moves the needle so hard. It really shoves it. That's what I meant. You didn't follow me there. It's cool. It's fine. It's okay.
So taking some data, we talked a few weeks ago about Superhuman, the email software.
Oh my gosh. Superhuman, you guys. Should I talk about it?
If you want.
Because again, they didn't pay us to say
No.
this. I think you should start because I'm getting too excited that I can't
Well,
talk.
I'm not going to talk so much about the product, but what they've done
Oh my god!
is that
they're
they
the
didn't
best.
when they launched.
They've
they-
changed my life.
They launched, and a bunch of people were like, "Yeah, it's an email software," but a few people were like, "Oh
Who
my
said,
god!"
yeah, it's just an email software.
I'm-
it is the email What?
The CEO wrote this great article about how when they launched, there were a lot of people. Yeah, there were a lot of people who were like, I don't know, it's okay. But there were a few people who said, no, this is the perfect thing.
Oh, so that was me. But
And
I
so,
didn't even talk
so
to them.
what he did is ignored the whole rest of the market and only sold his software to those people. He found out the problem they had and the thing that they had in common. And what is that problem, Jill?
Oh my gosh, those of us who want to get to inbox zero and have not in all of their lives since I think the internet came out in 1994, 1993. I don't know. That's when I first got email. I've had a problem since then with email. And they solved it. And I kind of can't believe, A, that it took this long. B, that I'm so grateful to you for helping me find them. They really literally have changed my life. And when you say they focus on the problems that their customers are having, even in my first phone call with them, because
Exactly.
you can't get the software unless you have a phone call with them. And when you told me that, I thought, that's so stupid. What a waste of time. I literally emailed them and said, I don't need to bother with your phone call because my friend Brad showed me around already. And they said, I'm so sorry, but you're not allowed the... I had given them my credit card, and they said, no, you have to have the phone call. And I realized on the phone call, she was essentially asking me what my problems were.
Yes.
I'm staring at my inbox going,
Yep.
show me how you use it, that it's a problem.
Right.
She uncovered things I didn't even realize
Exactly.
were problems.
Exactly.
And I went like, oh, we did need this phone call.
It's amazing.
And it made me fall in love with her, and now we're having an online relationship.
The- and it's the little details. Like, so they have a particular thing for when someone's introducing you to someone by email.
I haven't done that yet.
And you just do Shift Control I, and it moves the sender into the BCC and the person who was on the copy line into the to, and it says,
They're like freaking geniuses.
and like that was again, it was a problem I didn't know I had. But
There are
this
so
is
many
my-
problems they've solved. By the way, for those of you listening, the email software, the crux of it is that it is keyboard focused so that you can do your emailing and your filing and your arranging of your inbox so much faster. It sounds really silly, but it is really effective.
And there's no way to describe it because even when I showed it to Jill, when she was on the phone with the lady, she found a zillion other things that were perfect for her.
I mean,
So-
I saw how you
We're
can
not
get
here
to
to
inbox.
sell
zero.
super
No, we're not.
human.
And by the way, if you want a referral, 708-872-7878. But I almost don't want to tell anybody about it, even though we just did, because it's so great. I want them all to myself.
But this is my point. This is product market fit. That
Yeah.
product solved a problem for you, and even though it's way more expensive than any email
It's
software,
ridiculous that we're paying for this when there's free options that work just fine.
it is so good that
I'm
people
very
would have to
happy.
pry it out of my cold
I'm
dead hand.
very happy
right.
to pay them that money.
So
And-
it's
yeah.
worth it to find the product market fit. That's what I'm trying to say.
I love that. Great example. Whew, got so excited. And I think we crushed it.